I like Indiana's playing with a ruggedness over the past 5 games. And believe it or not, it's been this shit talking Northwestern transfer, Miller Kopp, that I thought changed it for them a little bit. Because when they played Michigan State, he got a little chippy. And it was like, hey, man, this is what we're going to do. I'm here all day. And I could just hear his corny trash talk. I can just hear it. You know how you play against that guy that just says weird stuff in the trash talk and he thinks he's tough? Like I could just hear Miller Kopp and what he's saying on the floor. And it doesn't drive me crazy, but it also makes me cringe a little bit because I guarantee you he's saying some things that are just like, that was kind of lame, but it was kind of awesome because he's on my team and now my guys are fired up. Like I could just see that. Jalen Hood Schifino's. I mean, guys, come on. Like if huh?
Special talent.
Yeah, special guy, big strong body. They've found out ways to be tougher than the opponent. They've got guys that are shooting above 40 now. So now that floor spacing out a little bit more for Trace Jackson Davis. You have Tamar Bates, Hood Schifino, and Miller Kopp out on the floor. That's like 41, 42, and 43%. I don't think I got the order right, but
better
point stands.
The exact numbers don't matter. What matters is you have 4 guys that you have to run off the 3-point line.
That's right.
And if you have those guys, you have to run off the 3 guys, you have to run off the 3-point line. And if you have 3 dudes, you have to run off the 3-point line. All of a sudden, you basically have that just everything in the paint opens up, which makes it that much more difficult to send 2 people at Trace, which makes it that much more difficult to keep him from getting to his right shoulder, which makes it that much more difficult to keep him from dunking on your fucking face. Because that's what he does so well these days. That's what he does.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. All right. I have a question for you guys. Matt McCall brought this up Saturday on After Dark, and I think it's going to be the key to Indiana's season. If and when Xavier Johnson returns, right? You suddenly have a situation where this dude that came in as like an all Big Ten kind of a point guard, guy that was one of the best players in the Big Ten over the course of the last 3 weeks, month of the season, and he's coming back to a team that has kind of figured out what they do without him, right? Jalen Hood Schifino has kind of embraced this point guard role. I didn't know he had it in him quite to this level. He very clearly does. How does this change the dynamic if and when he comes back? I don't even know if he's going to come back, because if you got a broken foot, right, and you're trying to recover from the broken foot, maybe you don't want to come back when you're not 100% healthy. If you're trying to keep your draft stock, or I don't think he has draft stock, your professional stock high enough, like maybe it doesn't make sense. Maybe you don't want to risk it, but if he does, how do you incorporate him, T.O., without ruining the dynamic of what you have going right now? Because
he's bring him off the bench.
Okay, does that ruin? Like, does that mess with what you like? Is he? I guess you probably have to know the kid.
Is he moody because of that?
Yeah, but
probably.
I don't. Yeah. So how do you deal with that?
You just say this is what it is.
If that's a risk, do you want to bring him back? Or do you just say, look, you were great.
Well, you want to bring him back because he brings value.
Yeah, he does.
And keep in mind, too, like best case scenario, he's coming back from a broken foot. What's he going to play the last 4 games of the season? Hey, dude, like this is where you're best. This is where you can help us right now. And if you have a monster game off the bench, it shows teams at the next level or whatever you're going to go next, like you're willing to embrace a role. So you have to word it correctly. Obviously, when you're talking to certain guys, you word it correctly. Like, hey, man, our team is rolling. You can be a spark plug for us off the bench. You can come in, you can run some pick and rolls and play with a lot of pace and really fast, but you're only going to do it for 10 to 15 minutes because 1, we're trying to protect your foot. True. 2, we are really rolling as a unit at that starting spot right now. Also true. And 3, like we want you to understand, like next level, you're playing a role. Semi-true. So like it's like you're going to have to sell it. Kind of, like Cooley sold Bynum on coming off the bench last year. Got to sell it. But at the same time, that's where he can provide value. And you just say, hey, this is what's going to happen. That's just what's going to happen. You can either be pissy about it or you can be great in your role.
I think it also says a lot.
It's on you.
If he throws a tantrum and doesn't end up playing, like I think that probably says a lot to NBA teams as well.
Exactly. Right? A la Nick Smith.
Probably more like EuroLeague teams. Maybe second division in Spain teams.
No. He'll get a good job.